No occupation should be subject to a licensing requirement unless incompetence in the performance of tasks normally carried out within that occupation poses a plausible threat to human health or safety. The principle stated above is valid. Most helps to justify the reasoning and which one of the following.
All right, so this is one that we definitely have to like I have to diagram or at least like break down to
I
understand.
did. Yeah, I had to diagram it too. And I still got it wrong.
Okay,
Um,
no occupation should be subject to a licensing requirement. Okay, so if an occupation is so subject to, I'm just gonna put, hopefully this works where I can just say, so if we have to have a licensing requirement, that means that the unless incompetence in the performance, that the incompetence in the performance of the task normally carried out within the occupation poses a plausible threat to human health or safety. And it also has to be, I'm guessing is going to say incompetence in the performance. Okay. So if we do not have a plausible threat to human health or safety, so we don't have a plausible threat to human health, or we don't have one to safety, which these are both PT, by the way, then, so if we don't have either of those, we cannot have we should not be subject to a licensing requirement. So like this PT appears like HH and S. All right, so we need to apply this to our answer choices. So I'll go ahead and do the first one. Because one of the duties that police officers carry out have no connection to human health or safety, police officers should not be subject to licensing requirements. So since we don't have these two things, I kind of like this one. Oh, wait, it says because some, so at least one, because at least one of the duties we need normally carried out. No occupation should be unless the task normally carried out poses a possible threat. All right, I'm going to leave this one, but I don't like it because of the word some.
yeah.
All right, you go ahead and do B.
Because there are no realistic circumstances in which poor work by an interior designer poses a danger to human beings, interior designers should not be subject to a licensing requirement.
I like this one over A.
But so I looked at this one and I said, well, they didn't talk about realistic circumstance. I don't know. The use of that word confused me.
I agree. I like it because I like it better than A because the A just says one and B says realistic, and it says tasks normally carried out. So I would say like normally carried out and realistic are pretty similar.
Yeah.
But maybe it gets harder as we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to cross A off now. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and try C.
Because hospital administrators routinely make decisions that affect the health of hundreds of people, hospital administrators should be subject to a licensing requirement. So for this one, it says they routinely make decisions that affect health of hundreds of people. So I thought that affecting the health is not the same as a threat or a possible threat. So I think I eliminated this one because of that.
I was going to say, like, we don't know that they're incompetent either.
Yeah.
All right, I'll leave it for now. All right, go on to D.
because hairstylists regularly use substances that can pose a threat to human health if handled improperly, hairstylists should be subject to a licensing requirement. So it does have the regularly used substances, which is like normally carried out, kind of synonymous.
Oh, I know why these are wrong. I'm sorry. I should have caught up on this. Just because we have these things potentially doesn't mean that we should be subject to it. What we know, like the licensing requirement is sufficient for knowing that these things happened.
Okay.
But just having these two things isn't enough to know that we have to have the licensing requirement. Right? Like these two, so being a threat to human health and being a threat to safety are necessary in order for there to be a licensing requirement.
Okay.
But they alone don't guarantee that you get a licensing requirement.
Okay.
That would be a false switch.
Yes.
So that's why it's not C, and that's also why it's not D, because they can do it doesn't mean that they should be.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I'm guessing that's why E is wrong too, because tattoo.
Yeah.
You do not mean strict sanitation poses a serious threat to human health. They should, because like, how would you ever decide between all of them? They all sound the same too. That's how I caught on to it.
True. Yeah.
Because this is saying, because like the negation is like, if we don't have these, then you cannot require this. And since we do not have these, you should not require it.
Okay. All right.
Which is why it's B.
What did I choose? I